There was a house once at the bend where Bonewater Creek almost touched the road but never did. It's sort of unassuming. I assume the boring white peeling paint and greasy windows have something to do with the reason the cars drive by without any interest. There are bones beneath its floorboards. Oh, you'd miss it if you blinked between mile marker 17 and 18, but if you didn't blink, and if you were the right kind of broken, well, you'd see it. I saw it. They say it burned down in 87. Arson. Well, that's what they said. Though, who'd want to torch a house that no one lived in? A house where no one even remembered. Was another matter. Yeah, well, you know what? I remember. And now I'm gonna tell y'all what happened there. In that slouched carcass of a house. In a town that's been missing from maps since I was 12. Well, this was before the fire. Before the town dissolved into ash and river fog, and before my life started smelling like cigarettes and mold. The town was called Clatterick. Population 361, if you included the dead, which we did. We had to. They didn't stay put otherwise. Now Clatterick squatted at the bottom of a fog bowl, hemmed in by steep pines and the shale teeth of the Cradle Range. He had one church, one school, one bar, no gas station though. We had to fill up before the descent or hope that someone had a siphon. And no scruples. We were somewhere around 20 years behind everyone else. Well, if you ask me, it's because time doesn't run right down there. Doesn't run right at all. Oh, most people don't ask. Maybe they already know too. I don't know. I don't know. My mother, my mother and I, we moved into a house over there at the Bonewater Curve when I was about 10. She inherited it from a cousin that she never met who died in his sleep, or that's how it said on the official paper anyway. She wouldn't talk about him. She wouldn't even go into the east room. That room was sealed when we got there. The deadbolt was on the outside. A thick iron key dangled from a nail above the doorframe. I remember touching that key the day that we moved in. Oh, but my mother, she barked at me to let it go. So I let it go, and that was that. Clatterick folk were practically made of river silt. They had moss behind their ears, I swear. They wore mourning like a second skin. You'd walk into the general store and see half the town whispering at the shelves. Oh, not to each other, just whispering. I refused to go to the store alone until my mother finally told me to man up, get on over there. It was my 12th birthday. Right after hating the general store, the school was the second place on my list of worst places in Clatterick. I was the new kid at school, which meant bruises. and being called Crow Boy after I made the mistake of mentioning that I'd liked birds that were perched on the chimney at dusk, but, I didn't really care. I had the house. Because the house, and now listen close to this part, the house was alive. Oh, not in a horror film kind of way. I mean, it knew me. It knew when I was feeling sad, and it would sigh with wind through the walls to comfort me. It knew when I was angry, and it would slam a door just before I could. It remembered things that I forgot, like where I had left my toy truck, or what page I was on in the book The Hobbit. Once, just once, I swear, I heard it laugh, a low, breathy exhale, when I made a joke to myself while brushing my teeth. I loved the house. Maybe others would have been scared, but me? To me, the town couldn't be so picky as to exclude the house from its measly list of residents, and it would be my only friend for a very, very long time. There was a girl in the woods behind Bonewater Creek, but she was not made of flesh anymore. She only showed up when it rained hard enough to make the trees scream, and, well, most of the time, the residents of Clatterick, especially the school teacher, would give you a harsh look if you acknowledged her. Her name was Elsie, and she wore a dress that dripped lake water and dead leaves. She never stepped onto the porch when she visited us. She only stood at the edge of the fog like she was waiting for permission to come in. I didn't give it. Not for a long time, at least. But I did wave at her once, and she smiled, all crooked teeth and hollow cheeks, and the storm stopped mid-roar. That's the thing about Clatterick. Nothing dead stayed dead if you loved it hard enough. Now, at some point before my 13th birthday, the East Room started knocking at night. It was soft at first, just one knock, and then two, and then five, in patterns like Morse code. I didn't understand. I asked my mother about it one morning before school, and she slapped the cereal box right out of my hand. The house, of course, knew that I was curious. It whispered to me through the floorboard creaks and the whispering of mice in the walls. She's not gone, it said. She's waiting, it said. Why do you ignore us all? One night, I got up, barefoot and covered with goosebumps. I tiptoed out of my room and down the hall to the east bedroom, and I reached up for that iron key. I remember thinking, if I turn this, everything changes. The house, the girl, my mother, even the town, all of it. But at 12, I was starting to think that I should be brave about things like this. And I didn't quite understand the whole concept of consequences or risks, so I turned it anyway. The door creaked open to reveal a room preserved like some kind of museum display. It had toys scattered in a circle around a small rocking horse. The tea set was half filled with brown dust, and on the wall, scratched in crayon, the words, "I'm not done yet." And then the whisper, "Finally." The next week, the creek overflowed its banks. Bone water rose like the dead. The townsfolk gathered on the porches and hills, watching the water creep into their boots, their homes, their skin. No one tried to stop it. They just watched. The house began to rot from the inside out. Mold spread like ink and milk. My mother screamed at the walls. It screamed at me. It screamed at things I couldn't see. She wouldn't sleep, and she wouldn't eat. Elsie stood in the rain again. Only this time, she was closer. One foot on the porch step. "I didn't mean to," I told her. She only smiled. No, when the fire came, I was in the east room, hiding under the bed with the ghost of someone I never met. I didn't start it, but I didn't stop it either. The house, it burned like it had been soaked in moonshine. The flames weren't red, they were white and silver, and like bones catching light. I saw Elsie one last time laughing as the roof collapsed. My mother was already gone by then, or maybe she'd never been there at all. Those last few weeks were so hazy. Eventually, so became the years, and so is my memory of her. Now most days are hazy. Clatterick's gone now. Wiped clean. You won't find it on GPS or in old census records. Folks who lived there either vanished or pretended that they didn't. The river was rerouted. The fog, it never lifted, and maybe it just never will. And even on the nights where I can't remember the way Clatterick whispered in the general store, or the nickname they called me in school, or the way that my mother looked in the years we lived there. Some part of me still remembers it in the way that I jolt the smell of mold and rot and smoke. The smell of cigarettes is enough to make me go mad. Maybe enough to go mad sometimes. And sometimes all of it takes is the feeling of my car key pressing between my thumb and my forefinger. And soon enough, I end up driving that stretch of road between mile markers 17 and 18. It's on those days and in those moments between the mile markers, I still see the bend in the creek where the water almost kisses the asphalt. And if I don't blink, I see the house. And I swear, it's waiting for me to come home.